Hey YouTube and everybody else. Well, we're leaving for a birthday party today and took a nap and forgot to set the clock, but we got there and we got there in time. And what am I coming out to? Well, the usual is chemtrail goo, and if you look closely on the images, on this image, you clearly see the squares crisscrossing the sky, and that doesn't fit with a wind pattern in any form or fashion. So something is creating these squares. I don't know when it's going to zoom in or what it's going to do. I guess it's not going to zoom in. But you can see it here. There's these squares, these lines. And it's not because of airplanes flying through. They just form. In the moment, I have a video of chemtrail videos and all the pictures I've taken during this work week out there in Texas, Oklahoma. And it's accompanied with a little music, and you can just watch it. You can choose not to. That's your decision. But at least it's on the channel, so you can always go back to it and watch it. And it's pretty profound how the uptick in the chemtrailing, especially down here in Texas, it's been really bad lately, and I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. So here's another picture. I took two of them. Let me see if it wants to zoom. It's preparing. And here you clearly see the lines up here in the top of the image. And you can see how they are splitting the sun. And that's something I see very often, that the sun is kind of either it's split in looking like an hourglass, or it's split into three sections. I don't know what the idea of that is, but I have my own theory, and that is because they are hiding something. So that's how it looks. It's nice and beautiful, right? And think about we are breathing this crap. And just look at this texture. It looks like another planet. And here is the sun beginning to set, and this is exactly what I was speaking about, that they are turning the sun into an hourglass. You see there's a light bulb down here, and I suspect the sun disk is in this area. But you see this light, there's a light underneath, and I often see this, and I think you who is watching the skies too are often seeing that the sun looks like it's kind of split, this lens effect. And here's another one, it's a little better focus, and you clearly see down here that the sky is beginning to turn very red, which is not natural. Why would it do that? Because the sun is behind there and it's not below the horizon, and the sun is still very bright here. It should actually be orange, pure orange in this altitude or angle over the horizon, but it's not. It's yellow. It should be orange, tinting over to red, but down here you see the red. And now the sun has set. And what are we having here? Well, it looks like the sky is on fire, don't it? It's pretty intense. And this is the color I was talking about. That should be when the sun was here. But the sun has set below the horizon, and now we are having the yellowish, reddish, orange light, which is not natural. It should not be like that. So that gives me the indication that there is another light source in the vicinity that is yet to set. And maybe that is why on this image you see that the sun is split, that there's two light sources actually. And they are doing this in order to mask it. And the sun has set, and yet we get this line of yellow this should not be there. This should be this color all over the place. And the next frame. And the next frame. You see, it kind of become a little brighter. It was actually starting to get darker. And all of a sudden, it seemed like the sky was more lit up than it should be, according to that the sunset has happened some 10 minutes ago. And I got a close-up of it too. It looks pretty intense. Look at that. Here's a picture that is in focus. It's a little hard to hold the camera still when you're zooming in that much and the lights are not that bright. So it takes a little longer for exposure. But I got one picture, thankfully, that is in complete focus. And you see how blood red the sky is now. There's a little hint of the orange-yellow light. But if you look here, you clearly see that this should not be there, the yellow. It should be like this all the way through, but it's not. And we're zooming a little out again. It's not in total focus, but it gives you an idea what we're looking at. It looks like there is another light source still prevailing above the horizon, and that is why they're drowning the sun with all this chemtrail goo. And you see here, now it looks like it actually got brighter, right? And my wife's taking a bath and she's watching something weird with some weird music. You heard that. But as you see here, there's a big difference in the light here and to this picture. And I would suspect that these two pictures, actually I can tell you here, this picture is taken at 5:46 and 58 seconds. This picture is taken 5:48:26 seconds. That's 2 minutes later, and you can see that there is a difference in the light in the sky. It's brighter. Now, how is that when the sun is going down? I don't understand that. It should not be that. It should be darker. This is 5:48:29. And this is 5:50. 30 seconds. And then I discover something over on the left side of the sky. Well, I'm not saying it's anything, but it's kind of peculiar. You see, here it's 5:50:22 seconds. You see how much light there all of a sudden is in the atmosphere, right? Above here in this area. How can that be? It cannot be. It should get darker and darker and darker, but it's not getting darker, it's getting brighter. How is that? It is not possible. And then I noticed something here on the left side. There's this perfect circle outline, which I'm taking a picture of because that was strange. I'm not saying it is anything. This is 5:52, 50 seconds. And now you see it here, over here. Perfect outline of a circle. That's strange. This is 5:53:44 seconds. Look how bright the atmosphere is. Odd. Now it dims, you see that. This is actually within the same minute I'm taking this picture. And here it's not in focus, but doesn't matter. It still illustrates pretty good what's going on. This is 5:55:15 seconds, and this circle shape is still present in the sky. Why that is, I don't know. But as you see here, here is the all the pictures in this folder that I took today. That you can clearly see that here it's dark, it's dark, it's dark, it's dark, and then it brightens up all of a sudden, gets very bright. You see that? Here you can see it's a little darker, and on the other pictures here you see it's getting darker and darker, and whoopty, you can see here at the time frame at 5:48:29 seconds, actually here 5 46:58 seconds over to 5:48. That's 2 minutes difference, and you can clearly see that there is a difference on the light in the sky. And all of a sudden here, that means 4 minutes later. Let me do it like this. You see this, how dark it is? And then we go over here 4 minutes later. Look how bright it is. That don't make sense whatsoever. And I must say that I'm having a pretty good camera on my phone. It's 16 megapixel, it's fully automatic. It has all the features, this camera, as a Canon or a Nikon camera have. It can take pictures that is just as brilliant as a professional camera. It's not just the megapixels, it's not as high as a Canon EOS or a DSLR camera, but still 16 megapixel is pretty decent for a mobile phone. Pretty decent. But you clearly see it here. Let's take them over again. It's getting darker. It's getting pretty dark. See that? Chemtrails are dark. The sky is kind of dark behind it. It's starting to gray out. And all of a sudden, phew, the sky is flashing up and getting bright again, turning back to bluish. How is that? That don't make sense. Unless there's a second light source in the vicinity. And that's what I believe there is. It's not just old Mother Sun up there. There is something else in the vicinity. So you can, and then we come to some of my subscribers. But how is that possible? Because the Earth is flat, and how can there be another planet inside the firmament? I mean, I don't want to take that discussion with you. What I want you to do is I want you to build a rocket. I want you to put yourself on board that rocket and take a damn good camera with you, and then shoot yourself up there and start taking some pictures, and then send them to me and prove to me visually with your pictures that the Earth is flat and there's a dome up there. And then I'm going to listen to you. For the time being, you don't know it, even though that you think the scriptures is alluding to it. But is it? Isn't it just because God is describing a boundary between the first heaven and the second heaven, as our atmosphere layers, the ozone layer as being the top layer of our atmosphere, and then we go out into space? Who says there's some solid foundation up there? Who says that? You do. I don't. And I've read it again and again and again, and I don't see in those words that there is some solid object that prevents us from going to space. I do believe we can go to space. Absolutely. But I don't believe in the moon landing. That's a bullshit. Period. They didn't have the technology to make such a precision launch and then hit the moon. I don't believe in that. I believe we've been there after that. But I don't believe in the moon landing in 1969. I just don't. I don't see that's possible with my phone. It's just a Samsung S5. It's more advanced and have more computing power than that Apollo 11 they shot up supposedly to the moon. I don't believe in that. They never went there in 1969, but after that they did, when their technology got better. But I believe We have another light source out there, and I believe it's the other system. And you need to understand something here. Every single civilization that has been on this planet have all described the same phenomena. That there is something in the sky that is blood red, showing up looking like a comet. It's got a tail, it's flying over the sky. Its movement is recorded by the Chinese 6,000 years ago. It caused our calendar to go from 360 days to 365 days at its last passing. And that comes into King Hezekiah. That's when that happened. And at that point in time, the sun went 10 steps back, meaning the day got elongated by 10 hours. And how can that happen? That can only happen if the Earth's rotation is slowed down. And that is exactly what happened. It actually went the other way, and that was because of this gigantic magnetic body passed in opposite direction, forcing the Earth slowly and gradually coming to a stop and turning the other way until it released, and then the Earth go back to normal, because sun polarity took effect again, and took, as it has now for the time being, have polar majority over planet Earth. When this big, large body is coming, passing us, it's going to be closer proportionally, because it's not bigger than the sun, but it's going to be so close that it takes force over us for, I think, 3 days. And then it will release again. And then the sun turns back to being what has power. The sun has the power to control our climate. It's not man-made climate. Oh, it is with the chemtrails. Yeah, I know that. But that we are responsible for global warming or climate change, as it's called today, this religion, that's BS. Because the oceans are leading out more CO2 into the atmosphere that mankind in combined history has put into the atmosphere. Even though we have industrialized world today putting out smog, like China is putting out 1/4 of all pollution, and no one is saying anything to them. No one can blame China for being a culprit of global warming, but America is absolutely to blame for it, right? Well, no one dare touches China, right? Well, I do. You can go kiss it, communists. I got no respect for you. None whatsoever. And I never will have, because communism is evil. It's not of God in any form or fashion. It is an adamant hatred for God. That's what communism is. And I can't go along with that. And China's going to have what's coming for them. Don't worry about it. They're going to lose everything they have. All of it. And so shall America. So shall Europe. So shall the whole world. Everybody thinks they're up on some freaking pedestal. And we are so superior. Oh, we can do this. We can do that. What are you going to do when an object 7 to 10 times larger than planet Earth, with a mass of a freaking mini-sun, is going to swoop past us and turn our world upside down, as Isaiah is saying, that the world would go to and fro, like a drunkard. It will turn over, and it shall never rise again. It shall be removed as a cottage. Now, if the earth is flat, you flat earthers, and the earth is flipping over and shall never rise again, do you not think that you will be lying on this so-called dome firmament, this glass ceiling, and then you're looking down at the Earth you once were standing on. That's exactly what would happen if the Earth was flat. You need to get off this flat Earth crap. Isaiah is spelling it out for you. The earth shall go to and fro like a drunkard. It shall be removed like a cottage. It shall fall over, and it shall never rise again. We will have a pole shift, and the earth shall not return to its normal after that. He says never rise again. Are we clear on that? There's your proof. That is absolutely contradicting what you're saying, that the earth is flat and there's some kind of glass ceiling dome and we can see out to the stars. Oh, the stars is inside this dome. I mean, come on. Read Isaiah and you will understand. The earth is a globe and it's going to keel over because of magnetism. The South Pole is going to get caught by the North Pole of the incoming object, passing object, and when it's passing up through the ecliptic, it's going to hold on to the South Pole, and it's going to yank the South Pole up, and then it's going to let go, and there the Earth is going to stay in that position. How many degrees it's going to be, I don't know. It depends on the duration and the how close this object or this planet is to us. That's going to determine the angle. The last tilt was 23 degrees, and that's why we are at this angle as we are now. And the funny thing is, the magnetic poles are not following the rotation axis. No. At all. The North Pole and the South Pole is completely vertical, where the Earth tilt is 23 degrees. The rotation axis, but not our magnetic pole. It's not 23 degrees. But it's on the move. It's moving towards Siberia. And it's moving 40 kilometers a year. It's moving. And it's moving fast. And it's moving faster. And where the magnetic pole is, that is where the ice cap is going to be. It's going to be frigid there. So wherever the magnetic pole ends after a pole shift, I don't know. But where that magnetic pole is on the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere is going to be the new North Pole and the new South Pole. And people who is in that vicinity, if you're still around and alive, you're going to freeze to death in a matter of minutes. In a matter of minutes. That's how cold it's going to be. It's going to be a deep freeze instantaneously. How about that? You don't want to be there. You need to have some projecting of where it might end up, so you're not in that vicinity, because you won't make it. End of story. It's impossible. It's happened before. The mammoth was found frozen in the permafrost in Russia, and it still had unchewed vegetables deep frozen in its mouth when they excavated it, dug it up, if you like. That was because of a rapid, instantaneous temperature change. And that happened because of a pole shift. That happened because this incoming object was in the vicinity. It's happened before. You go to Mother Shipton, which is the latest prophecy, if you like, or poem, if you like. She's saying, a fiery dragon. What does that say? Fury, fire, dragon. Oh, the dragon, which is described by all civilizations before us. That is an object in the sky, fiery, described as a dragon, wreaking havoc on planet Earth. And Shipton says in the 12th century, a fiery dragon across the sky 5 times this Earth shall die. This is the 4th time it's coming in. So we can say, what is it? 3,600 years orbit, right? You times that with 4, and that gives you the first rendezvous with our solar system. It might have been in here earlier, but not close enough. Because I think on the next turnaround, when it comes back, maybe it's coming back earlier. Maybe it's getting too close to the sun and its orbit is radically altered to being a much shorter Shale, if you like, the Anunnaki term for a turnaround through our solar system. That's determined in a Shale, and one Shale is 3,600 years. But this time it's getting too close to the sun. That system is getting too close. Its velocity, escape or breakaway speed is too low, and it reduces the so-called Shale into 1,000 years maybe. Because we are going to have 1,000 years of peace after this tribulation. 1 year in heaven, 1,000 years on earth. And from what I understand, that is that our Lord God Almighty is going to destroy this planet we are living on, and He's going to relocate us to a permanent place and forever. We're going to be tested one more time, just like we're being tested now. So maybe this orbit is being this time reduced into approximately 1,000 years. How about that? And if the breakaway speed is being reduced that significantly, it definitely gives you an indication of what we are in for this time. All you need to do is read Revelation. All you need to do is read Isaiah 4:6 about all the deaths of all the animals. I mean, the animals, the birds, the fishes, dying, and dying off. And at the moment, right now, the killer whales, the whales in general, and the polar bears are emaciated, meaning they're starving to death because of Fukushima. And there's no way we can change what's going on with that thing. That one is a done deal, people. But all that is going to be restored in some 7 years' time. But for now, all we need to do is live. And when that fateful day comes, when they decide to launch a war, World War III, 1/3 of us is going to be gone. And another third is going to die of starvation and disease and carnage, pandemonium. And a lot of people is going to die by having their head cut off because they don't want to follow this new leader, this Antichrist. I'm one of them. If I'm alive, well, I would demand personally that he cuts my head off, not some executioner. Absolutely. I want to look him in his eyes. So that's where we are. There won't be many left. 95% of us is going to be gone when there's finally peace on earth again. 95% of us. That's a huge chunk, people. It's something like 6.5 billion people gone after all this. That's pretty intense, I would say. There ain't anything I can do about it. There ain't anything you can do about it. And there was actually something we could do about it, but that's not going to happen. That's already prophesied. That ain't going to happen. And that is, you get on your flipping knees And then you ask for forgiveness. You pray for peace. All of you. Every one of you. Every single one of you. And the funny thing is, there's so many people that claim, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. I am this and I am that. And yet, they're praying. Hello? Hello? Where does these prayers come from? Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? I know why they're praying. That is because deep, deep inside, in their soul, that they know there is God. And their soul can't lie, and their soul can't deny. It's only in your conscious mind that you can deny the existence of God and think there is some crystal out there or some chakras that you can tune into, and then your life will be so sublime. It's all an illusion, people. All of it. It ain't gonna work like that. Prayers will. And you claim to not believe, but yet you pray. Oh, my mama is sick. And then you pray, please, please, make her better, make her well. And who are you praying to, you think? God Almighty. And your prayers are heard. But sometimes the answer is not yes. Sometimes the answer is no. And it just happened to be that God has a plan for every single one of us here on planet Earth. Every one of us. The question is, are you going to follow his plan? Listen and follow it? That's your decision, because you have a free choice. But for all that, I'm just saying, we got inbound. We ain't for a roller coaster ride that none of us can even imagine how that's going to be. None of us. Not even me. Even though I'm speaking about the things. Still, I haven't seen it with my own two eyes how it's actually going to be. Probably not going to be a fun ride. And the train said, okay, video is over. You said what you needed to say. Over and out. God bless you and Merry Christmas.